Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX TV in San Francisco, and Russell Jackman. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. Today's trivia theme is the NBA. Buddy likes those questions. All right, Buddy, I'm sorry. Anyway, that's our special guest. Russell likes those questions. And our special guest today is former Kansas City Royals shortstop and World Series champion, Buddy Biancalana, who's been on our show before. Buddy, hey, welcome to Sports Econ 101 yet again. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a while, Edward. Thanks for having me again.
Good.
Not to mention Late Night with David Letterman, mega worldwide star.
Oh.
He's still on. He's still on. Yeah, that's right. Well, of course, we have to kind of cover that one again because it's been too long since you've been on the show. So we'll do that in the next segment. Couple of quick things that we'll talk about in the next, later on in the show. I'm kind of quite curious. Tiger Woods' crash. If it was an accident, why are the authorities looking at the car data in the black box to determine criminal charges?
Because they have to be absolutely sure of exactly what happened.
Okay. I mean, do they do that with everyone else?
Do it with plane crashes.
Yeah, plane crashes. Yeah, but when a guy,
I think these black boxes are relatively new to these new type of cars.
Okay.
Because of the magnitude and the high visibility of who it is and what happened.
And we don't know what happened. And
Yeah.
we still don't know what happened.
Well, it's a dangerous curve, apparently. So anyway, this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments currently yielding over 7.5%, secured by real estate. Doesn't get any more conservative than them. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. When we come back, we're going to ask Buddy some questions, not only about his career, but also what he's doing nowadays. All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We're going to be right back. Hey, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Vern Glenn, Russell Jackman, and our special guest, Buddy Biancalana, local guy here because we're recording here in San Rafael. Actually, you grew up in
Redwood
Kentfield.
High School Giants.
Yeah, that's it. You grew up just, 5 miles from here?
I grew up in Greenbrae, the hills of Greenbrae, Redwood, yes.
Yep. So, but first, Buddy, what are you doing nowadays?
So I work with athletes in many different professional and amateur sports. We've been able to quantify the zone experience, which is what I experienced just by chance in the '85 World Series, where I literally played the best baseball of my life, where everything just slowed down and I wasn't thinking, and motion, my swing was more fluid and effortless than ever before. And really, I picked a good time to do it, but had no idea how I did it, but able to quantify how I did it. And more importantly, teach it to athletes so they can play closer to that level on a regular basis. So there's certain processes in the brain.
Yeah, I was going to say, because how do you teach that sort of thing to athletes?
Right. It's a very, when an athlete has that experience, any athlete's playing their best, it's a very, very abstract experience. They'll typically just describe it in three ways. One is that everything slowed down. They had, more time.
Yeah.
And two, that they weren't thinking, they were just reacting, and three, their motion was more fluid and effortless with, excellent or even perfect timing. And it's a very, very abstract state, very mysterious state when that happens, but we've been able to demystify it, quantify it, and more importantly, teach it. It's very complementary to traditional coaching, but we just make the processes of the mind the priority, because when an athlete's playing their best, they describe it in those three ways, and if that's what's happening when they're playing their best, it should only be the priority. So that's what we do.
How long is the process to start with a potential athlete to get to that point?
Well, they have the experience very, very quickly, and they know very, very quickly it must occur for them to play their best. What it is, I consider it a law of motion, and just as you would know. If I said, all right, Edward and Vern and Russell, we're all going to go up to your roofs and we're all going to jump off, you would look at me like I'm nuts because you understand the law of gravity.
Yeah.
Same thing is experienced by an athlete when they start to have this experience in the brain. They become 100% sure that this is the experience that must be their priority over anything else. And it's not that other things aren't important, because mechanics are important. And traditional coaching is very important, but the brain is the operating system to our whole life. It's the operating system of the muscles. And if it's not our priority, to some degree, we're just kind of rolling the dice. So we make that the priority, and it's, we've proven through, I've done 4 studies / research projects now, and we've proven that it enhances performance, expedites development, and minimizes soft tissue injuries as well.
Well,
If I could just jump in, buddy, in that vein, I would imagine a lot of your clients that are drawn to you are, I would say, high-level athletes, but athletes that would like to play at the next level, elite athlete type. So they all have a God-given ability to play the game, and you can have as much practice as you want, but how much does the sports psychology come into play? When I say that, I'm talking about the game upstairs, the sharpness.
Sure. So what I do is not sports psychology. It's all based on neuroscience, and it's a matter of getting the information that an athlete is processing before and during their motion. The whole key for fluidity of motion and part of the zone experience is making sure that those signals move to the cerebellum, it's the back of the head, part of the motor system, and not get interrupted by the prefrontal cortex. And I call the cerebellum an athlete's best friend because it does so much of the work for you. It's able to calculate where the body is at each given moment, where it needs to be. It allows the more subtle muscles of the body to become enlivened and the bigger muscles just to play the supporting role. And so, psychology is important, but this is based on neuroscience and it takes place on the field. Although, what's important is plenty of off-field work to continue to strengthen, build and strengthen and maintain the neural pathways, because as humans, we're either strengthening or weakening neural pathways in our brain, and there are actually studies taking place now, Fern, that if you're not, they figured out that if you're not learning something new, you're actually forgetting what you already know, which is pretty scary to me.
Yeah.
So,
also, I kind of think that's sort of like, chasing those demons away. It kind of reminds me of when Jan Stenerud had missed a field goal that allowed Miami to get into the Super Bowl. It was Kansas City versus Miami back in '72, I think it was. And they asked Jan Stenerud, he missed a field goal. And he said, you know what? I was going up there to kick it, and I just knew I was going to miss it. And
Wow.
Yeah, and he just, and Garo Yepremian, it was the opposite. He says, oh yeah, no, I knew I was going to make it. It's kind of interesting too, because like, if I remember correctly, in the '85 World Series, there was a call at first base by Don Denkinger, I think it was, who totally missed the call that allowed Kansas City to get to Game 7, and after that, you just knew St. Louis was just going to fold. I mean, you guys just killed them, 11-0 or something like that in Game 7. So, that mindset just kind of filtered in.
So I consider that call the call that changed my life.
Yeah.
And I'm talking call changed my whole life. But you're right. That was my first real experience of just how powerful momentum is. Mm-hmm. Because the Cardinals really broke down that call. They argued profusely, and it doesn't do any. Back in those days, and even now, it doesn't do any use to argue a call. And now they have replay. Back in those days, we didn't have replay.
Yeah.
Are you the only Redwood High School Giant to have won a World Series?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
We got Pete Carroll, we got Robin Williams, we got Gavin Newsom, and we got myself, but I haven't won anything.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to Steve Travers last year, and he was talking about how that your team was, I think it was a '77 team, was like the best in the country, right? But I don't know how they voted.
By Collegiate Baseball Magazine, and we had a run there. 3 years in a row. We had a lot of good players, and actually, I think we actually had better players at Red before our group even got there. But we got things well.
Gotcha. Okay.
Buddy, I had a question, which is that right now, because of COVID, there's a lot of people that aren't able to practice as part of a team. And do you feel that is lending more people to seek your services so they can get individual training because they can't work as part of a team right now?
Yeah, I would say so, Russ.
You're cutting in and out a little
On
bit.
that what we do, what we do on the field actually improves the overall sense of well-being for the person, because and also we see, it carries right over the classroom for student athletes, because one thing that the training does, it actually increases the theta brain state, and theta actually increases serotonin, oxytocin, two feel-good chemicals. So this training does way more than I ever thought it would do. When I first started doing it, I really didn't understand what I was doing. I just knew it worked. And then over the years of doing research and studies, we've really seen the magnitude of the impact it has on not just the athlete, but the person who is the athlete.
Okay. Hey, guys, we're going to cut to our first commercial trivia question here. Talking the NBA. Jeff Hornacek was a reliable shooting guard who helped the Jazz reach 2 NBA finals in the 1990s. But which team did he begin with? That's our trivia question, all right?
All right.
Email edward@sportsecon101.com. Basically, here's the question. Jeff Hornacek started with what team, but he ended up helping the Jazz reach 2 NBA finals. When we come back, we're going to continue on with our conversation with Buddy Biancalana, who played for the World Series champion Kansas City Royals, 1985. Of course, we do have to cover you probably told it a million times, the favorite David Letterman story, because that's
Oh man, it was so huge. It was like vivid in my mind.
It is such a funny story.
But that's back when everybody watched TV.
Yeah. That's a very good point. All right,
Great.
Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn, Russell Jackman, our special guest, Buddy Biancalana. First trivia question. Jeff Hornacek, reliable shooting guard for the Jazz, helped them get to 2 NBA finals. But which team did he begin with?
I'm going to go Phoenix Suns.
That is correct, the Phoenix Suns. All right.
Yeah, I knew that one.
You knew that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Buddy, of course, we got to have you tell the story of being on David Letterman. Kind of give us the backdrop of how this all occurred.
Sure. So in August of '85, we were playing the White Sox in Chicago. I got a call in my room in the morning from a writer, sports writer, a reporter, wanting some comments about the David Letterman show from the previous night, where he brought out a hit counter. And I had no idea what he was talking about. But I had this blue hit counter. It was when Pete Rose was chasing Ty Cobb. And Pete had, 4,000 something hits, and I had at the time, maybe 50 hits. And every now and then, David would bring it out and say, let's check the box scores. And he had the hit counter picture of Pete, picture me with the number of hits below our faces. And he'd say, oh, Pete had 2 hits tonight, and he'd hit the hit counter, and then Buddy had a hit, And so I don't know how often he did it during the course of the tail end of that. Then it just kind of escalated. We got in the playoff, got in the World Series, and I had a pretty good series. And wanted to tell you a funny quote. They called me for quotes, and they'd call my mother, and my mother had a fabulous quote. She said, the question they asked her was, "Are you offended that David Letterman is poking fun at your son?" And she was very naive, but she was very honest. She said, "Well, not really. If it were a quality show, I would." And Letterman just loved it.
Wait, you have to repeat. You cut off on that. Can you say that one again? What did your mom respond?
My mother responded to the question. She said, "Well, if it were a higher quality show, maybe I'd be offended."
And also, your mom also said, or you said that you were a lot closer to.
No, hold on. You got to wait till he's going to finish that part off.
Oh, okay, great, yeah.
Yeah, right. And then, I said, I came up with the quote that I was a lot closer to Rose than he was to Carson, meaning Johnny.
Carson and
We always took it back.
Oh, that was a singer. Oh, okay.
Did David Letterman ever give you the hit counter? Did he actually give it to you as a?
Yeah, I've got the hit counter.
Oh, good.
Nice.
But then you went on to the show. Go ahead.
I went on to the show the week after the World Series in New York, and that was a fun time, and meeting him, and People Magazine, they did a story, and we were invited to Madonna's party that Saturday Night Live, and it was a good experience. But it was not.
But what about the bat?
Go ahead.
You got to show him the bat, though. When you showed him the bat.
I gave him the bat with no hit marks on it. He liked that too.
Hey, buddy, take us behind the scenes. When you got there for the recording, don't you actually? Does he come in and like say hello in the green room or something like that? Then they do the show.
Yeah.
And they bring you out.
Yeah.
I mean, and what do you guys talk about during the commercial break?
Yeah, he came in and said, greeted me in the waiting room. What do you call it? The green room for him?
Yeah,
The green room.
the green room.
and said hello and shook my hand and said good to have you and short, and he's kind of rather shy. He's not a man of many words off camera.
Mhm.
And then during commercial breaks, they're just playing music, so you really don't talk much. He was interesting. He kept full control of the interview.
Yeah.
Right.
He he played this video. I don't know if you guys remember, but he played a video of me walking 5 times to the song "Nobody Does It Better." Yeah, let's watch the video of Buddy in the World Series. I'm thinking, he's gonna, pull up my base hits and my, driving in my RBIs and diving stops and things like that. It showed me in slow motion walking 5 times.
Well, there's the genius of Letterman. He always gives you the unexpected.
Yeah.
Full control.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, when George Brett got interviewed, they said, "Well, why'd you win?" He goes, "Good pitching and Buddy Biancalana." I mean, that's awesome from coming from George.
Wow.
Yeah. That was quite a compliment from Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, George Brett, going back, I believe he began, I guess, the early part of his career. He was in San Jose, single A ball with the Suns at the time. Right? I think that was the Royals single A farm team. Is that right?
Oh, I didn't know.
I think it was. I believe so.
Do you keep in contact with any of the guys? I remember Bye Bye Balboni. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Reunions and things like that, or fantasy camps, and I run into those guys.
Okay.
Jim Sundberg. I'm in touch with Jim Sundberg a little bit. Greg Pryor.
Yeah.
Running now and then.
Where do you keep the World Series ring now?
Well, the guy who stole from me, I'm not sure where he keeps it, but you'd have to ask him if you figure out who that was.
When did
Yeah,
Wait,
it was
whoa,
stolen
back
out
up. Whoa,
back
stole
up.
it from
Someone
you.
stole it from you?
Yeah, it was stolen out of my home in Florida. And I noticed that gate had been open, and I didn't think someone was trying to rip me off. I just thought, gate's open. And anyway, went to before and it was gone.
Oh.
Okay, I'm not.
Can they
I'm
give
not
you a
attached.
replication of it of some type?
I can get one. I can get one made.
Yeah. And it has your name on it, though, doesn't it? Do they have, or do they just say Wilson?
Yeah. It's my name on it. I've spoken to dealers about it. And they, if we're out here, we'd know it, but it's not out of them. I don't know why it wouldn't be. What you do with the World Series ring if you didn't pay
Yeah, especially if it's stolen. Oh,
Yeah, that's like a kick to the gut. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But you still have the hit counter.
yeah.
He has that. Hey, buddy, what do you make of the game today in these early weeks of spring training? I know that I guess through an agreement, these games they're 7 innings now, and they're putting in all these new kind of things through the middle of the month. Then they'll play a full 9 innings. But what do you think about these adjustments to the game?
Thank you very much. You're my news source today. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 7-inning games. I guess they're doing that for the pitcher's arms. I'm not sure why they're doing it. What's their reasoning behind it?
Well, the pitchers are held to a pitch count. 20 pitches and you're out, no matter what's happening. The pitcher comes out. 20 pitches.
And that way you can see more pitchers. The coaches can see how they're doing.
Yeah. Half the roster are pitchers anyway. It's a way, I guess, to evaluate them, and it saves their arm, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Wow, we're sort of cutting. We're sort of losing you there, my friend. I'll tell you what, buddy. We're not even catching any words right now. So I know that your time is really limited because you're heading home. Tell you
Well,
what,
let's get the website where he can be found. Throw
Yeah.
that out.
okay. So
You guys hear me now?
barely. You want to give us your website in case people want to check you out there?
That's nice of you. Zonemotion.com. Ownmotion.com.
Zonemotion.com.
All right, buddy, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, guys. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me. Nice to visit.
Thanks,
right.
buddy.
All right.
Great.
Well, yeah,
Nice.
unfortunately, he was he's in a car on the way over to the airport, and it's a little bit too hard to hear him there.
Well, that's what dead
Still,
spots do.
when you sum up the nicest guys in sports that I've ever met, it's a short list, and Buddy is right near the very top of it. You couldn't get a nicer guy and a more forthcoming individual, and always super positive no matter what's going on in life. He's one of the most positive people I've ever met.
It's
Playing in an environment where, I mean, your success is based on a lot of times your failure, you know, and to overcome that and achieve and go to the highest level of the game, a lot can be said for that, as the only Redwood alum to have won a World Series. I think that's what a distinction.
well, yeah, and it's interesting too because in his specific case, it actually worked to his advantage that he was not a big hitter, because with all the Letterman and all that kind of stuff, that wouldn't have happened if he was, you know, a 220 hitter, 250 hitter, you know, some 250 hitter. It wouldn't have been a big deal. But because of all of that, he was able to turn that, you know, and then he hit something like 3-something,
333 in the World
333 or
Series.
something,
He had a monster series. Yep.
Yeah, and errorless baseball.
But he's never let it go to his head. He's never let it go to his head. He's just down to earth.
Zone.
What you saw here, what you people saw on this podcast here, is who he really is. It's not an act or anything like that. He's a genuine human being.
On a similar degree, different sport, Aaron Rodgers. Been the same guy ever since the day I met him playing football at Cal. He's just always, boom, been like that.
I love guys like that. I bet Cal Ripken's like that too.
Yep, he is.
He is. All right, here's our second trivia question. We're talking the NBA here. Which member of Michigan's Fab Five spent his first 2 seasons with Denver and eventually made his way to the Indiana Pacers? So you got to remember the Fab Five?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, sure.
All right. Okay, that's our trivia question. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to that question when we come back. We've got a bunch of other stuff to talk about. Stay with us. Don't go away. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. Second trivia question: which member of the Michigan's Fab Five spent his first 2 seasons with Denver and eventually made his way to the Indiana Pacers?
Are we talking Jalen Rose?
Yeah, we are talking Jalen Rose. Very
I
good.
just wanted to get that one in before Vern could hit me. Yes.
The next one's going to be a little hard, unless
I'm already going to guess George Mikan.
Oh no, that's not it. NBA's first big man, right?
I don't know. You love the stuff that is before the days of television.
Wait a minute, but you know the name George Mikan.
I do.
There you go.
Because I'm just judging by all the football trivia stuff that you throw at me from the 40s.
By the way, let me check in, Mr. Jackman. Have you seen any episodes yet of Young Rock?
I have, and I absolutely love it. I've seen all 3 episodes, and it's not just a great show. It's got a great message, and it's really well thought out, and I it's not just a bunch of jokes strung together. There's a lot of philosophy about family and about commitment, and I swear to you, I have already seen in like when Rocky Johnson has that his match at the flea market.
Yeah.
I have absolutely been there. I've absolutely gone through that exact scenario myself, where you invite somebody, they think it's going to be this huge thing, and there's like 10 people in the audience, and they're like looking at you like, what? Why am I here? What am I doing? And then that person winds up having the time of their life anyway.
His date, the conversion from ooh, ew, oh, what is that? To,
And then when you see it live, you're like, wow, that was really exciting.
yep,
So,
yep.
Is that it's on Netflix, isn't it?
No, it's on NBC Tuesday
Peacock.
nights at 8.
Yeah, you can catch it on the Peacock Network or on demand.
Okay. I got to write that down because I was trying to find it before. I don't know why.
It's fun. It's fun. It's smart. It's not just a slapstick comedy the entire time, but there's moments like when the Iron Sheik is getting the lecture on what to say at the barbecue, and he has to write down a list of the things he can't say.
Right.
That is the Iron Sheik. People who know who the Iron Sheik is, I'm absolutely sure that happened in real life. There's no doubt that happened in real life.
I like how the talk show host that has the present day Dwayne Johnson on is also in the Marvel blockbuster hit series WandaVision on Disney.
Right. I haven't seen that yet. I'm trying. Hey, look, I only have so much time, so I'm going to get through binge watching that hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Great series, WandaVision.
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. I
Okay,
haven't
write
watched
that
it.
one down too.
Yep.
And wait a minute, what is that about? I remember.
It's about the Vision and the Scarlet Witch. It's a comic
Yeah, Scarlet
book
Witch
thing,
and Vision are married, and they're in a situation and an environment where Wanda has more control than you think.
and Vision's an android.
Yes.
So that complicates things right there too.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, so
It would help, but it's not absolutely necessary to know a little bit of the backstory on the two Marvel characters. But you can take it as it is.
You and I, Vern, know all of it. You
Okay,
and I,
okay.
Vern,
Yeah, we
know
do. Yeah,
all
we
of
do.
it.
So and if you can get through the first 3 episodes where you're just thinking, God, what's going on here? 4th episode on, it just takes off. To me, every episode from the 4th episode through the 9th, I felt like I was watching an actual blockbuster movie.
Huh.
Effects, storyline, everything.
Yeah, everyone
Boom.
says get past the first 3 episodes. And
Yes,
then
that is
it
true.
starts making sense.
But you can't start with episode 4. You really do have to go to be it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
a documentary about a true story.
And they leave and
Maybe,
Russell, I like how they leave like little Easter egg clues like in the episode. Even the commercials in the episode are pretty good.
Oh,
Wow.
I like that. That's pretty good. When they have
Yeah.
commercials, they kind of feed into that. Very, very nice. Okay. Hey, guys, you know what? I got to say this year's NBA All-Star Game was actually kind of fun to watch. Sometimes
yeah.
it's been kind of...
I disagree with you folks. I will disagree. I thought it was a drag. I thought the first half was interesting, but then when you have the slam dunk contest in halftime, which took forever.
Yeah, that took too long.
Yeah, the second half I was like, more basketball? No, I felt like when you go to an opera and there are 3 acts, by the 3rd act you're like, oh man,
You're done.
oh.
No, and I was alluding to the first half because it was. I mean, some of those 3-point shots. I know they weren't as contested as normal, but it's still pretty amazing.
16
Yeah,
for
it
16
was exactly
shooting.
what it was. It was entertainment. It was an exhibition, and
But 16 for 16 shooting? Come
oh,
on.
I know.
That's
And that's the thing is one of those shots, if I remember correctly, he actually missed, but they didn't count it. Like I think it was an alley-oop or something, and he kind of fell. That was Giannis, right?
Yeah.
He like fell into the not into the crowd.
Yeah,
but,
they just said it was a missed pass. And
Oh, okay,
that
that-
yeah, it was the pass.
That's a missed pass. Okay, that's fair enough on that.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
But 16 for 16.
16 for 16.
That's shooting practice. That's not a competitive
That's
game.
even better than shooting.
One of those was a 3-point bank shot.
Yeah.
And when he let it go, everybody was like, no. Wow, whoa, what a shot.
You know, the thing I like about one of the things I do like about these All-Star games is the camaraderie. That's just sort of, even if the guys on the other team, because it's not like, for a real NBA championship or something,
Right.
just kind of enjoy each other. And, to see LeBron and Curry on the same team, it's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, but the dunk contest, I don't know. Something's got to be done with it.
That was the weakest part of the day, in my opinion. I happen to have Mark Spears, the senior NBA writer for ESPN, on that night on our show on Channel 5, who was there, and the he told me that the feedback from the players is that they like the idea of coming in and getting it all done in one day instead of spreading it out over the weekend.
Yeah.
And they also like the fact that you know hardly anybody really saw this, the fact that that money was going to the historically black colleges. Fund.
No, they
They
talked
raised
about
a
it.
lot of money for them.
They talked about it, and they
Yeah.
made some great scholarships. No one's against the scholarships or anything like that. I did like the fact that they cut out the musical acts that they usually have, which can't stretch everything on too long. But if you watch from the skills contest all the way to the end, that's about a 5-hour investment in TV, and I just think that doesn't sell well. They could really cut down like the dunk contest and make it just, well, I have my own ideas of what I'd like to see the dunk contest done like. I think they should have one stylistic dunk, but I think they should also do a dunk for distance.
Yeah.
To have something that you can measure it by. And they have a little sensor that's in the rim that can show you how fast the ball goes through the rim, so the power of the dunk.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see dunks for power, and that you get like, a number rating as to how powerful you dunked it.
Get Daryl Dawkins back.
Yeah, well, the judgment stuff is just, there's no way of empirically judging it. I didn't think the last dunk, the one that won, was all that fantastic. So
if he had kissed the rim,
but he probably would have broken his teeth.
And then that would have that would have done it. But the last one, little uninspired for me. My favorite dunk was Obi's, who bounced it, jumped in the air, and then went between his legs, and then
with one hand.
That was my favorite one, and that was in the first round.
It's amazing. And when they show it in slow motion, it's really amazing how difficult that really looks. You know, sometimes it's done so fast, you just kind of go, "Oh, that was neat." But then
it's true. It had more impact in slow motion than it did when we all watched it.
And the judges, they don't really get a chance to look at it in slow motion, right? It's just
not when they're first voting for it.
But I got to say, it's kind of fun to see the judges. Jason Richardson, Spud Webb, Dominique Wilkins.
All previous champions.
Put on a few spuds. Spud's had a few spuds.
I was going to say, you look kind of
old.
What's going on with him?
Spud Webb?
Yeah.
He got old, like we all did.
Yeah, he just put on
he said he put on a few spuds, and I was wondering them all.
He got old. His metabolism slows down.
But that 3-point contest.
He's not doing suicides anymore, Edward.
No, I doubt it. But the 3-point contest, that was worth the price of admission.
Oh.
That was a lot of fun, and seeing Curry, get that last, get the 28 points by the last shot, and just the confidence. We're talking about Buddy Biancalana and having confidence in what you do, and Curry just hit that last rack with the kind of confidence that just you're like, that is what makes Curry special.
Well, how many times how many practice shots does he do a day? 100, right? I mean, what you saw the video where he did 130 in a row? Or something ridiculous.
And that's
what he does. That's what he does every practice, though.
And he's shot them from the tunnel. He's made shots just walking outside the entry tunnel and just throwing one up, getting it in there. And apparently he did the Larry Bird move where he said to the locker room, "Okay, which one of you guys is going to be in second place?"
Yeah, I like that.
Nothing like calling your shots, man. That's why Curry is a multi-champion and multi-time MVP. That kind of confidence and that kind of.
I like the Nat sound before the game of Curry going up to LeBron, just going, "Man, let me see this up close." I've never really seen it up close when LeBron James grabs the chalk and just throws it up. It was good stuff. Good stuff.
The skills contest was kind of, I don't know, it's kind of boring. Except
nobody cares. Nobody. They keep trying to tweak it and make it special, and it really. My friend said what they really should be doing is a 3-point distance contest.
Yeah.
See if people could that's more what the NBA is about these days, is see how far you can make a shot. They
may incorporate that. Who knows? They may throw that in as a wrinkle.
The problem was I would love for them to bring horseback, but when basketball was in COVID and locked down, they did do a horse contest, and it was just a car wreck. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen on television. And so I think that guarantees that we're not going to see a horse contest.
What was so bad about it? I don't remember seeing it.
Vern, did you see?
Well, I
any
mean,
of that?
some of the guys that were involved, they didn't really take it seriously. Like Chris Paul, he didn't really care. And then I thought the women that were part of it were very good. You know, I mean, they innovative, taking shots, while sitting down and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Otherwise, the men were doing all safe shots. They were all just taking distant shots, no movement stuff. And and for the NBA, I was surprised that everybody had the worst cellular connections for showing broadcast stuff. It was worse than Buddy Biancalana right there. People were picking up, like every 5-10 seconds.
They should have like referees or whatever decide what shots are going to be done rather than the individuals on that. Hey, another trivia question, guys, coming up.
Okay.
All right. Which player, which we're talking NBA, which player almost quit basketball to become a garbage man, but went on to win 3 NBA championships and MVPs? You'll know the name.
He won 3 NBA championships and 3 NBA championship MVPs, or 3 league MVPs?
You know what? That's a good question. As I was reading, I was trying to remember. Well, let's put it this way: he's won at least 1 MVP, probably at least 2, and he's won 3 NBA championships.
That is not in the basketball almanac.
And probably not. Which player almost quit basketball to become a garbage man, then went on to win?
Become a garbage man.
Yeah. All right, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be right back with some closing comments.
NBA championships.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn, who's looking up left in the sky, because that's the best way to think about how you're going to answer a question. That's how your brain gets it back. And
Can you give us another clue? Can you give us one more clue?
I'll give you one more clue. Okay, well, hold on. Which basketball player almost quit basketball to become a garbage man, but went on to win 3 NBA championships and MVPs? I don't remember how many MVPs he won. Could have been 3. He is in the Hall of Fame. The clue I will give you is Boston Celtics.
Okay. Oh,
Robert Parrish?
Larry Bird. Is that what
Are you serious?
Larry Bird, yeah. He almost
going to become a garbage man.
Yeah.
That I never heard.
Yeah.
Did he win 3 MVPs? He probably did.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I don't know.
He only
Hall of
won
Fame?
1.
Yeah, I think he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's automatic.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why I
he
said
made the right career choice.
Yeah, but yeah, really, it's a good thing. All right, you guys ready for our puns for the day?
No,
Yeah, go
but you'll
Daddy.
do them anyway.
Okay. All right. Did you hear about the guy whose left side was cut off? Don't worry. He's all right now.
Oh.
Vern
He's
loves it.
all right now.
Russell shakes his head.
That was funny.
That was
Okay, all right.
Okay. I can't believe I got fired from the calendar factory. All I did was take a day off.
That's bad.
I like that. Okay.
Very good.
You like that? I mean,
Yeah, I
sometimes I
do.
read some of these and I go, okay, that one's really stupid. I'm looking.
They're punishing.
Yeah. Okay. Did you hear about the new restaurant called Karma? There's no menu. You get what you deserve.
Oh, there you
Just
go.
desserts.
All right. You guys, thanks again. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We'll be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Adios, America. Fastest hour of the week, guys.
Oh,
Good night, America.
hey, next time we'll get into there are a couple things I didn't get into. Trevor Bauer's agent, the first female agent at this level. NFL hiring Maya Shaka.
Yeah, from Virginia.
Virginia, and Tom Brady's rookie card sells for $1 million.
Yeah, $1.3 million. Wow.
Incredible. All right, guys,
but they only made 100 of that particular model of rookie card.
and that's the reason. All right, guys,